Namaskar. Initially, I wanted to record a video named "Where Does the Jealousy Comes From?" But as I thought more, I found that not only jealousy, but all the negative emotions, they come from that point that I want to discuss. And in this video, I want to talk also whether a spiritual person, the person who does spiritual practices, whether he is or she is guaranteed from not having negative emotions, or can a spiritualist be angry, be jealous, greedy, attached, proud, etc. And if he may be like that, then what for is the meditation? If after 40 years of meditation I may become jealous, toxic person, then what for I will do meditation? No need. So I want to discuss that matter. When I first met people who meditated, my friends, they taught me simple way to meditate with Bábá Nam Kevalam mantra. I saw them. They impressed me. They were beautiful beings emanating radiation, the spiritual radiation, the wave of goodness. And they were dynamic, they were sweet, they were so good people. So for the first time in my life, I really felt inspired. I never before I thought that I want to become like anybody, but this time I felt I want to become like them. And I thought they were beginners, they were just like 1 year practitioners, 2 years practitioners, and they were doing meditation, but they were serious in their practice. 2-3 times per day they were doing. From 30 minutes to 1 hour, they were sitting in meditation. So that routine created that energy about them. So I thought, if the person meditates just for 1 year and becomes like that, what will become of him after 40 years? Wow, this is very, 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 very inspiring. So must be that 40 years meditator, he is a flawless person. He has no defects. He has no problem. The anger, jealousy, all these things, they must be far away from him. But experience did not prove this theory. I happened to meet people who meditated long in their lives, but still they are toxic. Still they are expressing negative emotions. So that puzzled me. I thought something, I misunderstood something. Why is it like that? So I want to talk about that, because it is important for everybody to understand. When we come on the path of spirituality, most of the time we are undeveloped. Undeveloped means the body part of our person is dominating. We are more physical beings than the psychic or spiritual beings. And the mind is, the personality, the mind is small. And due to the practice, due to the yoga practice, meditation practice, the volume, the kilograms, the liters of our personality, they will increase. The mind is going to get enlarged in the process of spiritual practice. So this mind becomes this mind. It's just like a drop of milk and 10 liters of milk. From the drop of milk, nothing can be done. But from the 10 liters, you can make cheese, you can make cottage cheese, you can make different caramels, sweets, and so many things you can do from 10 liters of milk. So with a little mind, the person cannot do much. If he is in a good energy, he can do something good here, something good there, and he's just a nice person. Though not very powerful and significant in his expression in society, but he's a good person. We experience that energy. That's what I experienced when I met them. And then if the negative energy dominates the mind, the person also does something evil here and there, but it's also not significant. But when we develop our mind, then our action becomes big. The good we do becomes big. The mistakes we do also become big. The big personalities, they have also big mistakes. And it's just like a milk. The milk can be fresh, the milk can become sour. The good thing is that the sour milk also can turn back into the fresh and sweet milk. So the mind, the volume is different, but the quality of the mind is the same. The guna of the mind, the energy which dominates the mind, defines the quality. If the crude energy is there, the negative emotions, so-called negative emotions, appear, the primitive emotions, such as jealousy, such as greed. If the energy of the mind is subtle, all the noble sentiments awaken. And it can happen here, it can happen here also. But in the beginning, when we start practicing yoga, it is very easy to make mind positive. Because the body dominates, and you change the body. You change your lifestyle. You wake up early, you do asanas, physical exercises, take sentient diet, the sattvic diet, the vegetarian diet, and then clean the toxins through fasting. And that simple routine, and you do also meditation, invoke the cosmic ideation. So that simple routine will change the state of the body, and the body will be just like a locomotive, and the mind will follow as a wagon behind that locomotive. But then I enjoy that kind of life, I became positive, I don't understand how to be negative. But the personality will enlarge, the mind will enlarge. And as I grow, the mind starts to dominate over the body. So now what I do with the body is not as important as it used to be. So now I have to do something more. And as I move forward, what I have to do becomes more and more important. That is why it is said, Utishtata, Jagrata, Prapya, Varani Badhata, Kshurasya Dhara, Nishit Duratya, Durgam Patastatka Vayodanti. It means, wake up, search for realized teacher. The spiritual path is difficult. It is as sharp as a razor's edge. It is difficult to walk upon. First time when I read it, I thought, why is that so? Spiritual path is just do meditation. Nothing difficult. I mean, some discipline is there, but it's nothing impossible as it is described here in this verse. But then as you move on the spiritual path, you understand that the higher you climb, the more dangerous is the fall. So the foundation of life, of the spiritual life, is the moral principles of Dhamma and Niyama. And if you build the house of one store, you need to have somewhat strong foundation. But if you have 30-story building, then the foundation has to be extremely strong. So as you move with the development of the personality, you have to work on building up and increasing, improving your foundation. And that foundation is a certain attitudes that you have in the mind. It's just like different principles, the rules of behavior, the rules of thinking, is just like a jantra, the machine, the certain mechanism that controls the functions of the mind and does not allow the mind become negative. How does the mind become negative? It can only become under influence of the force of ignorance, tamah guna. In one word, to describe the state of that energy is staticity, stagnation. When there is a stagnation, from that stagnation state, negative emotions appear. We are made this is our psychology, this is our structure, this is how we are. If we become stagnant, we become negative. But sometimes you may say, that person is very hard-working, but he is still toxic. How comes? He is not lazy, he is not sitting. But that can be judged, whether he is lazy or not. It can only be judged internally, not externally. Because maybe person is doing so many things, but internally he just performs habitual tasks. He doesn't have to labor spiritually. He doesn't have to overcome anything. So internally, he is stagnant. He remains confined in the space of certain habits. He remains confined in his opinions, in his mental structure, and he doesn't go out of that mental structure. He's not growing. He's not working to grow his personality. So from that stagnation, as you progress, the more you have to push to progress further. If you thought that I will progress, and here let me rest. Resting means going back, because resting is turning the mind into the negative state. Of course, you have to rest, but you have to find the proper balance. The beautiful analogy is the string. Just like a guitar string, you are stretching the string. If you stretch it too much, it will break. So we should not take the tasks which are beyond our capacity. We will break. But if it is too loose, then it will not sound. If it is too loose, then I start to get stagnation in life. In my life I experienced, actually. I'm working, and suddenly I have become good. I'm victorious. I conquered a certain area of my life. And the things that before were so difficult for me, now is just very normal. And that I'm thinking, let me enjoy just. I don't have to do anything. I'm just doing certain things, but internally I'm not doing. I'm doing only externally. I don't have to stress myself. It is very easy for me. And then my sadhana, my spiritual practice start to suffer. I start to feel that I'm degenerating. So there is one principle of Jama Niyama. It's called tapah. Tapah means to endure pain, to endure suffering for the development of your personality, to strive for spiritual liberation. Liberation means to enlarge your mind until it bursts and merge with the cosmic mind. So to endure hardship, to attain that enlargement of the mind. And to endure hardship, to help others, to enlarge their mind, which is the same thing actually. If you endure hardship to help others, definitely your mind will be getting enlarged. And if you endure hardship to help yourself, definitely you will also help others. So there is this one principle. So the caliber of your personality should tally with the caliber of the tasks you perform. And nobody knows. Maybe I'm building bridges, I'm building houses, I'm shooting the rockets in the sky, but for me it's nothing. That means I'm lazy. But maybe I'm just doing somebody says that insignificant work, but for me I'm really overcoming my boundaries. And that means I'm hard working spiritually. So you have to be a spiritual hard worker to always strive for enlargement of your mind, to always live in tapa, in the austerity of the spirituality. Then another one is that the santosha. Santosha is to be happy. Sometimes people may say that, oh, I've lost the struggle for existence because this and this, that person did something bad, that person did something bad, therefore I am not happy. So santosha does not allow any external orientation. I understand that everything that happens in my life is actually the best situation for me to work on certain things in myself. And I take it with gratitude. And I'm always happy. I have decided to be always happy. I may strive to change the external environment, but internally I'm always happy. That is also very important to maintain the balance of the mind. And then shaocha, the purity of the mind. If the crude thought comes in my mind, I'm not accepting it. I'm working to replace the crude thought with the subtler. Some crude ideation comes, but I will repeat the mantra and I will try to to engage my mind in the spiritual thought. So in this way I purify my mind. The svadhyaya. Svadhyaya means to study spiritual philosophy and to have the understanding of the world, of the truth. Jnanam anantam brahma. The infinite knowledge is God. God is infinite knowledge. By knowing different pieces of knowledge, I am getting better and better picture of God Himself. By knowing what is right and what is wrong, and trying to deeply understand the psychology, the action, the life, I follow the svadhyaya principle. And then if I have a proper view of the world, in that case, even though I may experience negative emotions, I will not give in to those negative emotions. I will still behave very decently, and I will still be moving ahead towards spirituality, not falling down, degrading. Then another factor is the samskara. Samskara is the reaction to the past actions. But if my mind is controlled with the machine, with the set of the rules of jama and niyama, even the negative samskara comes, awakening negative emotions in me, it will not go further. You know, the samskara is compared with a seed. There is a seed. For example, I slapped someone. I slapped, and then I created the seed of reaction. So for me to get rid of it, of course not so simple, but in a simplistic way I'm explaining, I also need to get, or some other way to experience that pain. So when I get, it doesn't end there. I will be angry and I will retaliate. And I will slap 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So instead of one seed, I am experiencing the reaction of my past action, and it makes me mad. I become irrational. In that state of irrationality, I am causing more harm. And I am planting another seed for the future requital. The person who is in the positive state, who is in sattva guna, in the state of goodness, he may experience something, but it will end there. It will not go further, because he will act in a rational way. If he needs to discipline somebody, if he needs to punish somebody, he will have to punish, but he will have to do it in a balanced state of mind, not out of anger, not out of any imbalanced emotion. He will act as a rational being, so he will not plant more seeds for the further requital. And this is called Daktha Bija. Daktha Bija means the person who is burnt seed. The seed does not grow. I only eat the seed, but I don't get the seed and seed and seed. The new plants are coming. It's over. My samskara is over there. So jama niyama is very important for that. Train our mind in jama niyama so that we don't plant further seed of destruction. And very important to push yourself forward. When our master, he was in a physical form, he was putting a great pressure on his disciples, because he knew now the personality has developed. Now the tantrika has become, large mind. So that person, he has to work very hard. If he doesn't work very hard, he may become negative. So Guru pushed the disciples to do many different things. At one occasion, he said that, you have to open 20 schools, the village schools in India. So the disciple, okay, this is the order of the Guru, I must do. Just like a bullet, he came out of the house of the Guru and started to work. Within 1 month, he opened 18. Then he came to report, and he said, a little bit proud, he said, I did 18 schools. Then Guru said, what? You promised 20 and you didn't do? You nonsense, only eating and sleeping. in this way he scolded him. So he felt a little bit hurt, and he said, "You're going to meditate now." Then he sat for meditation, and there in that meditation he got a beautiful spiritual experience. So Guru brought him into that. He utilized the maximum. He knew exactly what is his string. He knew how to stretch the string in such a way that it gives beautiful sound. So the mind has become in that completely sentient. There is no negative thought, because as you are pushing to enlarge your personality, as you are pushing forward to perform the tasks that you have been given, you have no scope for any negativity. You become extremely positive, and you become a conduit for the cosmic energy which is flowing through you, the cosmic grace which is flowing through you. And in that way, the person becoming extremely sentient. In that way, he is able to receive the cosmic energy. So that is the greatest art of life, is how to know your inner, am I trying hard enough? Am I trying hard enough? Am I trying hard enough? And it is only you who can measure. Nobody can measure, because we are different. Somebody this much, somebody this much, somebody that much. And externally we are all the same, but internally we are different. So it doesn't matter what I do externally. Maybe other people will applaud me, other people will say, "Oh, you are good, you are great." But myself, I know I haven't worked hard enough. I didn't deserve. I should. So that is the key to maintain the positivity of the mind. And as you go further, it becomes more and more important. I just want to encourage you once again to look into the principles of Dhamma and Niyama, study them and practice them and love them, those principles, and understand how they work. This is the greatest benefit of spirituality. And also I just remember one song, it says there, "I love you for the fast running of my soul." The deer, you know the deer, the animal with the horns, the deer of my soul has been running very fast. It has not been stopping for a moment. This rein, you know how you call it, the thing that you rule the horse with, this rein has always been tight. It has never been loose. I have always, there was the pull was always strong. I was never lazy. I was never resting. I was always moving with inspiration towards the great goal. And oh Lord, oh the Supreme Entity, I love you for the fast run of my heart. My heart is running towards you, and I love it. I love that effort that I am making, because that very effort makes me alive, makes me positive. So thank you very much. Namaskar.